Andy Roddick pinpoints what is crazy impressive after Alexandra Eala's Australian Open exit. Alexandra Eala was unable to take advantage of her strong start in Australia, eventually losing her first-round match to Alicia Parks. Eala began the match in fine form, winning the first set 6-0. However, she was unable to capitalize, losing the next two sets 6-3, 6-2. Despite the loss, there were positives for Eala to take away from the match, most notably, the level of support she received in the stadium. Fans poured into Court 6 to watch Eala play, leading to queues outside the stadium and a plethora of Filipino flags displayed in the crowd. Eala's popularity is evident for all to see, not least to Andy Roddick. Andy Roddick says Alexandra Eala's following is crazy impressive. Andy Roddick, the former world #1, has been left stunned by the popularity of Alexandra Eala. People come out for their stars, Roddick said on the Served podcast. You look at the views on her press conferences versus the top stars in the world. She has a massive following in the Philippines. It's crazy impressive, and it's something that tournaments are going to have to pay attention to. Didn't work out, Parks won. Great win for her. But this is the type of story you cheer for, because it's great for tennis. As noted by Roddick, Eala's press conferences have garnered more attention from tennis fans than those of her higher-ranked peers. Eala's pre-tournament press conference has garnered 178,000 views on YouTube, the most of any player at the event, including Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, and Coco Gauff. Eala may be the most popular player on tour, as discussed by IGA Swiatek on Monday. Alexandra Eala loses her Australian Open doubles match. Alexandra Eala's 2026 Australian Open campaign is now officially over after the Filipina lost in the first round of the women's doubles event. Eala and Ingrid Guimara Martins were unable to overcome Magda Linette and Shuko Aoyama on Tuesday, losing 7-6, 2-6, 6-3. Linette and Aoyama will play Rebecca Shremkova and Linda Noskova or Aisha Mohammed and Erin Routliffe in the second round. After concluding her Australian Open campaign, Eala has the opportunity to take part in the inaugural WTA 125 Philippine Women's Open in Manila. The scoreboard is a cruel editor. It trims months of work into a final line, a win or a loss, a name advancing and another quietly stepping away from the court. When Alexandra Eala's Australian Open run came to an end, the numbers told one story. Andy Roddick, watching with the eyes of someone who has lived an entire lifetime inside the professional game, saw another. It was the kind of thing Roddick has become known for in retirement, cutting past the obvious, past the exit, past the disappointment, past the easy narrative that says a loss is a failure. What caught his attention, what he would later describe as crazy impressive, was not that Eala had been stopped, but how little she looked like someone who didn't belong. That distinction matters in tennis, maybe more than in any other sport. The quiet violence of the big stage. The Australian Open does not ease newcomers into its embrace. The courts are hard, the air is heavy, and the lights have a way of making even seasoned professionals feel exposed. Every ball comes back faster than expected. Every hesitation is punished. For young players, especially those still shaping their identities, it can feel less like a tournament and more like an interrogation. Eala walked into that environment carrying more than just a racket bag. She carried expectation, national, personal, historical. A Grand Slam junior champion. A symbol of possibility. A reminder that elite tennis is no longer the exclusive property of traditional powerhouses. And yet, when the first ball was struck, none of that mattered. What Roddick noticed, what jumped out to him in the middle of rallies and between points, was her calm. Not the absence of nerves, no one is immune to those, but the refusal to let them dictate her choices. She swung when she needed to swing. She defended when she had to. She didn't shrink the court or her ambition simply because the stage was loud. That, in Roddick's language, is crazy impressive. Loss as a measurement tool. Fans often misunderstand what former champions look for. They assume legends measure young players the same way television graphics do. Wins, rankings, trophies. But Roddick knows better. He remembers losing matches early in his career that taught him more than some of his wins. He remembers walking off courts knowing he had lost, but also knowing he had touched something real. When he looked at Eala's Australian Open exit, he wasn't tallying unforced errors. He was measuring distance, how far she was from the level required, and how quickly she seemed to be closing that gap. And the gap, to his eye, was smaller than it had any right to be. Her footwork didn't panic. Her timing didn't collapse. Even when points slipped away, there was structure in her game, an understanding of patterns, a sense that she wasn't improvising out of desperation. She was executing ideas, sometimes imperfectly, sometimes bravely, but always with intention. That's the difference between someone visiting the tour and someone preparing to stay. The courage to play forward. One of the most unforgiving truths of professional tennis is this: playing not to lose is the fastest way to lose. Young players, especially against more established opponents, often retreat into safety, higher margins, slower swings, hoping errors will come. Eala didn't do that. What Roddick found remarkable was a willingness to play forward, mentally and tactically, even when the match tilted away from her. She stepped inside the baseline when the moment called for it. She trusted her lefty patterns. She took risks that didn't always pay off, but made sense within the architecture of the point. To an analyst, that signals belief. To a former world number one, it signals something deeper. A player who is already thinking like a professional, not a survivor. That kind of courage can't be coached into existence. It has to be chosen. Composure is a skill. There's a myth that composure is a personality trait, that some players are simply calm and others are not. Roddick knows the truth. Composure is a skill, learned through repetition, embarrassment, and self-awareness. What impressed him about Eala was not that she never showed frustration, but that she recovered from it quickly. A missed opportunity didn't linger into the next return game. A tough call didn't spiral into a loss of focus. Her routines, between points, at the baseline, during changeovers, acted like anchors. For a young player, that's rare. It suggests our spent understanding herself. It suggests coaching that values emotional regulation as much as technique. And it suggests a future where pressure moments don't automatically become breaking points. Beyond the exit, when the handshake came and the match ended, the tournament moved on. That's what tournaments do. But development doesn't work on the same schedule. Roddick's praise wasn't consolation. It wasn't a soft landing. It was recognition.